Hey guys, welcome to episode 20 of the weekly, and I have a special guest.
I'm not going to be talking too loud.
Well, thank you for joining us here, guys. Appreciate it. And of course, with me here is the one and only Mr. Juan Bagnell from Some Gadget Guy. How you doing, man?
Viva Mexico. I think we're all in agreement that that's is probably the top pick to win the whole World Cup now. So pretty much the best.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm calling it right now. There's no way I could possibly lose. Sure thing. Take it to Vegas. That's what we're gonna do.
No, Nigeria's win the World Cup.
Whichever African team my 23andMe test says is gonna win. Long as they win, that's who I am this time.
Now, isn't it kind of refreshing? Like, because you weren't born here in a bong, that like we don't have to pretend that like we're rooting for the USA because we live here.
You know, you guys don't care.
Yeah,
kid.
No. I mean, look,
y'all just happy to be like soccer for about the 2 months.
No. See, I always tell Warren this is the difference between watching soccer and any other sport. If that team plays well, we will support you. That's the difference. So that's why people like Germany and certain teams or Brazil, because they will, at least most of the time, they'll always show up. Yeah. So we're just waiting for the US to show up.
We played good at the last World Cup, and then after that, it just went all to hell.
But anyway, guys, let us kick it off. We have very limited topics, but I figured the first one will take up a lot of our time. So this week, Instagram via Facebook decided to spice things up, add a little flavor into the influencer, creator, aka video creation landscape, which of course has been dominated by YouTube. We've seen many other ventures from people like Vine and even Instagram to certain degree. Exactly. Facebook with streaming, there's Twitch. There are many aspects that have chipped into this whole online video. Twitch is doing very well on the streaming side.
R.I.P. Vinny. You got me.
But now we have IGTV, which is Instagram's own long form video content, which gives you a maximum of up to 10 minutes for the long form content. And what IGTV, at least I didn't read the press release. I saw a snippet and I downloaded it immediately, and I was like, whoo! That was my excitement level. But
so you were legitimately amped about this.
I was amped. I mean, because as a creator, even though like if you go to IGTV now, it has a lot of things you want, and there's still things they need to add. Yes, it's not fully fleshed out. And yes, I'm not the fan of vertical video and having to shoot a lot of stuff, especially with a DSLR that way. But I do like the fact that they've just owned it. I think that for me is one of the biggest things I got from Instagram, is that they said, you know what, we're going to do it this way, and we know there's a market for it. What do you think, Juan?
Yeah, I hate portrait video. I hate it. I absolutely despise portrait video. That is going to be a significant barrier for me taking this seriously. I think portrait video is one of the worst things to befall the lazy smartphone content consumption machine that we've created. And I do not understand a platform where this becomes a significant barrier to entry. I don't get it. It's going to, like, for example, my daughter had a concert at end of the year, little graduation ceremony for all the kids that were going on to kindergarten, and they all sang songs and stuff. The number of parents like shooting in portrait mode is ridiculous, because that's video you're never really gonna want to watch anywhere else but on a phone. That's not preserving a memory. That's just sort of creating digital noise that you have to pretend like you have to store, and then you move on. So I'm going to have a hard time with IGTV if it stays in this. We can only do vertical video, portrait video milieu. That being said, I am happy to see Facebook leveraging Instagram to try and do something else for streaming video. Facebook video really hasn't taken off to be the YouTube competitor that people were hoping it would be. Facebook's brand has been kind of tarnished of late. Instagram's brand is doing phenomenally well. So if you're going to use any platform to try and fight YouTube, this was the right platform to pick. I just wish that we had any other kind of output to support. Even Square Video, I feel, is a better representation of what content creators can do for a platform than Portrait. Portrait just always looks terrible.
Warren.
Okay, after Sam,
I'll play Cranky Pants McGee. Let's do it.
Yeah, vertical video is, I think, the bane of most like tech YouTubers' existence. We all just look at people recording like that and instantly want to just force their hands to go the other way or just yell at them until they do it. However, I see this. It's just it's a different way. It's a different set of way to present content online. Just like we have, there's content that's created for television, and then there's content that's created for big screen theaters and movies. And usually there's a specific way you want to present that. So I just kind of feel this is just another way to present a specific style of content that's going to work for that type of vertical video. They definitely, I think what really made them choose that is if you go on Snapchat, if you can get through the crappy app or ever open it up to actually like work, you'll see like a lot of the news and content channels that they just kind of curate for you will create content in that vertical space, and it actually ends up being pretty decent articles or pretty decent video that they make through it. So I think their idea is that while we're starting with content creators, it's getting those other news and publishing companies that are creating on Snapchat now to migrate themselves over to Instagram TV with very minimal effort in having to change their production style.
Yeah, I thought about that too. One of the things that, and Warren, if you don't mind me kind of picking your brain because I haven't used Snapchat as much, but the idea of Snapchat in making these little video vertical snippets was because they were catering to that kind of Snapchat usage, that kind of Snapchat app interface. The whole point of IGTV is that we can move beyond 1 to 3 minute videos. Yeah. And now this is what I don't get. Do we expect people to watch a half hour in portrait mode?
Well, it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, I thought the whole point of IGTV was to expand out to up to an hour.
No, it's 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
So up to 10 minutes, I think, is a little bit better. But I really thought the whole point of IGTV was that you could create even longer than.
Probably can create a series.
You can create a series. So the idea is to make, like even the way it's styled, when you click on the app or maybe you get a notification, click, it's got that TV static.
Yeah.
And then, it goes to the channel. You can create, I think when they flesh it out is that they really wanted to make it feel like you have your TV station in there, or at least you have your own TV channel, which got me like, the reason why I'm excited is, okay, for instance, I'll tell you guys what I plan to do. I plan to have the kernel on maybe Tuesdays on IGTV. Okay. Because for me,
not get arrested, yes.
Yeah, but it allowed, I think for me, why I'm excited is that so YouTube has become a space where I don't do that many headphone videos anymore because they don't necessarily do well unless it's a big brand. So the smaller brands, I have to always wait to do a best 100 or best something. That's just what YouTube has caused me to do. I can spend that 2 to 3 minutes on IGTV and do that, just that alone. I can do some cooking stuff now because I can have a dedicated space for it. I think for me, this is the expansion where I am now separating what I will throw on YouTube. And I know somebody, I mentioned that earlier, and one of my followers was like, well, IGTV would be a space where all you YouTubers put your crappy content. I was like, no, it's just, there's certain things that I can move around and say, yeah, you might still see me talk about the Galaxy S9 and the Galaxy S10 on there. Yeah, sure. Because, that's just professional space, but I can now put in things that I get that I'm going, okay, should I make a video on this on YouTube? Because YouTube algorithm just won't carry it, as opposed to me putting it on here where I can at least create something different, shorter, and you know.
So again, I mean, if we're talking shorter and we're talking Snapchat, then I think we've just got another Snapchat clone, and I don't understand why this would necessarily need to be separated from Instagram instead of maybe giving us better ways to provide content.
It's not separate
on Instagram.
It's not separate.
No, I know, but it is a separate app. I mean, we have an IGTV app. The idea is that you're sort of bifurcating the idea of how content is created through these different apps. But the point of IGTV, sorry, I had to look it up. The point of IGTV is to give bigger, more popular channels and those that are already media backed access to hour-long content with the ability to eventually make unlimited length videos a possibility. So again, you get 10 minutes because you're not Jimmy Fallon. Fallon can make an hour-long video. Who's going to watch an hour-long, hold their phone in portrait mode for an hour?
I think I hear you on that part, and I won't. But I don't even watch an hour-long YouTube video either. Like, to me,
oh, I will. I mean,
will.
Like you get a great setup, like a Red Letter Media review, and I'll have that running in the background all day.
I mean, I just personally won't. Like, but again, that's it, right? It's you would. I mean, on YouTube, which I'm on, I cannot do it. If it's not a movie, forget it. I'm not even touching it. Or a TV show, like, just no way. There's no way I would do that. But that's what we have. I think on IGTV for me, though, it's the fact that it's something else. And again, also, remember, you put up that tweet this week that YouTube responded to. That was the same day IGTV came out.
Yeah, that was a bad look for YouTube.
Yeah, so for me, it was the mental switch of, forget this, people. I mean, like, none of they even care. Like, they don't care.
YouTube is actively working against smaller producers. No, I agree with you there, and I agree that there should be some competition. What I'm saying is, if I want to take IGTV seriously as some sort of competition to a YouTube, I need to be able to do this. And then I have a platform where, again, format shouldn't matter if we're talking about giving creators the tools to empower the kinds of content that they want to make. Putting a restriction on the orientation of video instantly makes it a less desirable option to truly invest in that platform against a platform like YouTube. Whereas, I mean, like right now, I'm moving stuff to Patreon, and I'm trying to build community through that kind of interaction with people individually, one-on-one direct. And I can still use YouTube servers or archive.org or Vimeo as the backbone for hosting the content that I'm producing while I'm moving them through Patreon as a resource. Instagram forces me to use Instagram as the sole end-all be-all platform, and they put restrictions on what kind of content I can produce. So that makes this a no-go for me, other than the novelty of, well, maybe I can do some slightly more polished vlogs, because that's about the only thing that makes sense for the audience that I have, for the kinds of conversations I have. But that's not really going to be something I invest in as a content producer.
Well, I think that's the challenge, is to figure out what type of content that you could create that could fit that. It might not come to you instantly, but there could be some type of idea that we're all probably trying to come up with and think. So
I completely agree, but isn't that kind of what was the death of Vine? You know, you didn't really have a platform, you had a restriction. So Vine was 6-second video clips. And if you wanted, you could do looping 6-second video clips on anything. You didn't need Vine for that. And they never really figured out, how do we move Vine beyond just the novelty of the 6-second clip? And they forced all of their producers to monetize through other means. Instagram's been doing a good job of finding monetization, brand deals, making professional channels. So that's not necessarily the concern. But putting an artificial limitation, if I want to shoot video and portrait, I've been able to do that on numerous platforms. I can do that on YouTube. I can do that anywhere, but not giving me the actual full toolkit. I mean, even when you were saying, like, I did a silly Easter egg on Pocket Now, where if you clicked on a secret part of a video, I can't even remember what review it was, because it was almost 2 years ago. It took you to Juan's perfect turkey melt recipe. Like, I would not have wanted to shoot that in portrait. You know, like, I want to shoot my kitchen. I want to shoot the ingredients. I want to shoot, you know, like, even a top-down square tasty video looks better than if I had tried to shoot that 16:9 or even worse, 18:9 in vertical mode. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, there are reasons why more cinematic content is produced the way it is, and it's because of the human being's field of view being more landscape than vertical. And that's gonna be a major stumbling block for me to say, why would I use this over any other video presentation platform, if only just for the novelty that it's Instagram, which is still a part of Facebook. So it's not like they get off scot-free for my issues with Facebook and data mining and that relationship there. That's where I'm having a major roadblock, is to just embracing IGTV. It's going to be competition. It's going to be great. Well, maybe not.
No, I hear you. I hear you on that part. But my mindset has changed. I used to be that. And I've decided I'm not going to be slow. I wouldn't stop myself because the landscape itself, because of YouTube. This is my reaction to this is more, I mean, IGTV is fine. I get it, but it's more YouTube that's driving me there.
Oh yeah.
YouTube is stagnant. So I've just said, look, personally, it's, you know what? I run a business. So I have to make my business work. And as a creator too, there's the limitation, but I'm also a creator. So let's create, let's do something, which is why I said, you know what? I might as well throw the kernel, which I always want to do, but I can't even make that many kernel videos on YouTube because YouTube won't carry it, even if I do it on a tech basis.
Right.
So I have to, that's why I say that I understand the limitations, but then again, it's a matter of driving the audiences that you have. If you even have one thing, because to me it's this, if you have one thing that your IG audience will love and pick up, then that's the one thing. Doesn't matter.
Now, but you're looking at IGTV more than, say, Facebook video.
Yeah. I mean, for me, because Facebook video, Facebook hasn't fixed the pages and they haven't fixed that whole aspect of their system. So Facebook just hasn't really worked for me.
Facebook is such a pay-to-play system with that. It prevents really you from taking it serious as a content creator without having a large sum of money to be able to boost your video.
Yeah.
And that's if that, it's boosted properly.
Yeah, so for me, it's, if I've tried to make that work and it just hasn't. So, again, I'm just looking at more. I think my look is what is the business angle and how do I capitalize on it? Because there's certain things that will work and there's certain things that will not work on IGTV. And I'm fine with that because I know that also YouTube has told me now there's certain things that you can do. And that's it as a creator. So, we're now trying to, diversify income streams across the board and, different locations of how to actually make content. And that's why I said, when I looked at it, I was just excited because now I can continue doing some of the things I do, but just on a different platform. Yes, there's a barrier by switching this, but you know what? Look, if you want to make money, you just got to make money.
I don't think the barrier is that bad right now. I think it's a barrier that's understood, but I think it'll change over time. I mean, we went from only square photos to landscape photos on Instagram eventually. So
yeah, I know. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. It just they eventually saw the light. People wanted to put.
But that's true though. It is right. Like they could eventually.
That's totally fair.
I just go.
I should be more fair in acknowledging that they did eventually change their mind. But again, to me, it's an artificial roadblock for me that is very frustrating to work around because that significantly influences the kind of content that I would want to make. The traditional, like, let me get close up on smartphones, or let me show you a wider shot, or let me show you camera samples. All of those things now would have to be run through the lens. So that means that I need to go out of my way to find a different conversation with the people that would be following me on Instagram, rather than creating the content that I would naturally want to create and find an audience that way. So again, because I totally see that point, and it's probably something I will play with, but it's going to stay in the vein of I'm playing with this thing, and I think people will be. They'll sense that I'm not taking it seriously. So they're not going to take me seriously on it until I can find something that really resonates. But by then I'll be curious to see whether or not this is an actual continued force or if it's going to be another situation like Facebook video was for us too.
It seems like whenever they do something with Instagram, it tends to stick.
But they said Insta stick, sorry, but never mind.
Hey, Sam. Sorry, I actually don't have the window up for our hangout because the Mexico game is on.
It's okay. The game is on right here, too. So.
Yeah. I didn't notice that you'd even joined. So, Sam, tell me why you think IGTV is terrible, because you totally agree with me. Ready, go.
What is IGTV again?
Yes!
Nah, I just don't get it. I'm looking to see what the revenue share on this thing is going to be, and I don't see it. So it's basically another venue for these guys to create a platform with content and then make money off of the analytics on the back end. So yeah, you can use it to engage in a longer form sort of context with your viewers, but this is just Instagram saying, oh my God, we got to get into the same analytics game that Google has with YouTube. To me, it's all Instagram focused. It's really not creator focused. Like, how would a creator make money off of this, except for engaging with his viewers that he already brought to Instagram?
Oh yeah, I mean, there is no current revenue share model, but they are sponsored content.
Yeah,
that is what.
Yeah, you have sponsored content everywhere.
Yeah,
but that's sponsored content on Instagram right now. It doesn't change the dynamic of Instagram.
Yeah, you can actually do, but it means you can do longer sponsored content or more fleshed out, which also means you're charging more money.
I guess. I just think at the end of the day, we'll just see people chopping down the YouTube.
I think some of you guys should actually, like, if you want a better understanding of why they're doing this, is to go on Snapchat and look at things like Vice and SportsCenter and all those other things.
I get that.
Yeah, I've seen those, and those are great.
The content and why Instagram is choosing to do it this way too. But I do think there'll be a difference maker in that they'll probably find a way to incorporate traditional widescreen format video at some point that differentiate itself from everyone else. But I think right now they just got to get everybody using the thing and understanding what it is. And so you got to open it up to the lowest common denominator. You got to get what they're hoping for, another Chewbacca mask mom to show up on there and blow the damn thing up. That's what they're hoping for. So you got to make it as simple as possible for that one person to jump on it, and then now all of a sudden everybody's on it. Then now you can look at expanding the platform, because now you have this audience coming in here now actually wanting to watch and or create content on the platform.
Which is kind of a chicken and the egg argument, though. I mean, that was kind of the death of VidMe.
Yeah, I mean, true, but it's Instagram.
It's Instagram. No, it's not. They're not starting from a net zero like another outlet. But again, it's these kinds of concerns with. That was good. Right over his leg too. Beautiful.
Sorry.
Beautiful. All right. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, instead of whinging on about why I'm a grumpy old man and the kids should get off my lawn, what did you think of YouTube's response? We know YouTube had an immediate reaction to what IGTV.
I didn't see it because, again.
Let me find it. You guys vamp for just a second. It's the actual YouTube blog. They're expanding the sponsorships program.
Oh yeah, they had. I got access to that, I think, a month ago or so. But
so I don't have 100,000 subscribers.
But why would I use their sponsorship program or their?
I can do it outside better and cheaper than
exactly.
Let me throw the actual YouTube blog in here, because there are a couple other things. So they're expanding. They're now calling it channel memberships, where you can subscribe to a channel for $4.99. You only get to activate that if you have over 100,000 subscribers. So I can't use that. That's not going to take me away from Patreon right now. And then that channel producer can create content specifically for subscribers or leave stuff public if they want to leave it public. Then they also announced better tie-ins with merch. So you can now better create merch for your channel directly through YouTube and directly through Google AdSense. And now one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting was premieres. So you create a video, you upload that video, and instead of instantly going to publish it, you set a specific day and time where it sets up a live chat style interface for the first view of that video. So then you can jump into the live chat and interact with people just like you were doing a live stream, but it's a very special one-off presentation of that. And then it's just a regular video on your channel, but then it'll have a live chat interface that people can see the next time they go back.
I mean,
so I thought that was actually the most interesting announcement that they made. Was this is the only tool which looks like it's applicable to me at all, which is you can make the first time your video goes public a special event. So that looked kind of interesting.
Well, it is all nice and dandy.
Too late.
If no, not even that. If people will actually get notified that you have a video coming out.
Well, see, that's what's funny is, again, YouTube is making you do the legwork, because you would go out to your Twitter, you would go out to your Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing a premiere, you should come join me. We know for a fact that Google and YouTube's built-in messaging and notification system will not help you at all unless you're Jimmy Kimmel, unless you're already a 10 million subscriber channel. We already know YouTube is off the reservation for us. But if I wanted to go out there, because I already do things like that. Hey, guys, I'm rendering a video. Hey, guys, I'm uploading this video. It's going to go live at this time today. You should come check it out. We're already doing that. Now, instead of me just being in the comments for the first hour that video is live, I could actually have a special sit down with the people that follow me on Twitter and the people that follow me on Instagram and say, hey, we're going to do a premiere. You know, I'm going to be in the live chat for this first watch. You know, other like-minded people, other fans of this channel, other fans of this content are going to be there too. You can interact with them also in real time, and we can all watch this video together. That was the only thing I took away, that Google might be doing something interesting on the same day that we also noticed that they were fucking around with our subscribers and notifications again.
So you see, everything they announced there makes me more excited for IGTV, even though I'm not making a single amount of revenue from it.
Right.
Because I know it doesn't work, because I already have it and it doesn't work, and they won't fix it. So I mean, I get it. That's why, like, just piggyback on this and going back to IGTV, the fact that YouTube is the one that's made me more excited about this, because they have broken their platform and they've destroyed it, and they're bringing a feature that basically we created on Twitter by saying, hey guys, vid uploading in 10 minutes, get ready to retweet. That is what that feature is. Something that you could have done if you had a proper messaging services. Why can't I just simply go send a message to all my subscribers? I can't do that.
It's even worse. It's even worse because this is something that it's not as though people haven't been saying it to YouTube for years now. People have been giving YouTube feedback and giving them feedback, and all of a sudden now they want to listen to the feedback when they have a competitor. It's like they now realize that if other people listen to the YouTube creators and does what YouTube creators want, oh my God, they could actually take our creators away from us. So now YouTube is like, oh, let's do what these creators have been telling us to do for so long. It's ridiculous. It's like, it's not as though they never did it before. It's not like as though their messaging system never worked before. It's that they literally went out of their way to break it. And then they broke it in a way that basically benefited the few, or the large creators, the larger creators, like the revenue makers, versus the new incoming creators into YouTube. And this, yes, YouTube is definitely the biggest loser on all this, but I'm still trying to figure out how IG Live is going to work. To basically make people as much money as they could possibly make on YouTube. Once they figure that out, YouTube better start basically, counting the number of its days, because this is what we've been talking about for the last, few months, that YouTube needs a competitor, and this is it.
I don't think Instagram TV is a direct competitor. It's eating one chunk of their business out.
It's not a direct competitor, but it's still a competitor. It's still basically showing the chink in Google's armor.
But it's not going to be the one that knocks them out. Somebody's going to have blow for blow for them and willing to host a site similar to this, to what they have now. When that happens is when they're going to start to see things sort of kind of unravel for them. Everything they announced in that blog post, I'm like, it's 2 to 3 years too late when everyone else has already done these things on other platforms. They're not going to go out of their way to change what they've already done since it already
and especially with the same restrictions. So if you want to monetize your channel, you still have ridiculous restrictions. If you want to now have sponsorships, these channel memberships, you have to have 100,000 subscribers. Anyone can just go to Patreon, like right now. Anyone could go to like GoFundMe or any other crowdfunding service.
Not just going to Patreon. Right, Sam, remember when I asked you, I told you about this 2 months ago, and you're like, because I didn't know what the breakdown of split in revenue Patreon gives. And you told me, and YouTube takes more money from you on this. And you're like, why would I even do Patreon? I was like, oh yeah.
And also,
I just was, you know,
it's $5 is $5 is a barrier. My sweet spot on Patreon is $2. I think $2, like far and away, that is the highest level, the most subscribed to tier on my Patreon. Asking people that you need to pay $4.99 so that I can get $2 from Google is a bridge too far. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to praise Google too much here. I don't want to praise YouTube too much here. I'm really not in the mood for that. But that premieres feature, you know, like we're going to say, if you're going to listen to creators and you're actually going to make a move that benefits creators, that to me was something that moved the needle. You know, that was like, we still have 2 engineers on the YouTube team that are capable of looking at the landscape, of looking at user concerns and user issues and user suggestions, and we can make a feature that is interesting and compelling. That means they're scoring 30% for this announcement, but I want to give them the thumbs up on the 30% they got right.
I like the angry side of me just looks at that and go like, look, it's a nice feature. You looked at what we did on Twitter. The funny thing is this feature is built for, I mean, dare I say it, Will Smith. I mean, this is what it's built for. It's not built for me. It's not built for you. It's built for anyone who has, let's drop it down to say 1 million. Basically and above.
I don't even think
those are the people it will work for because they will be notified.
I don't even
that's the first 6 million. I'm sorry.
I don't even think it's even that. I really think it should be it's the celebrities that that already have such a large fan base, even outside of YouTube, that they can come on here now with one video and have never been on YouTube, do something like this and blow up instantly.
It's just built for a certain tier because
But also, I mean, let's not give IGTV too much. Let's not give IGTV too much credit for championing, you know, the smaller guy, because you only get to make a 10-minute video on IGTV. You don't get to make an hour-long video.
I don't want to. That is you.
No. Don't move the goalposts again. Do you get the same features as a celebrity? You do not get the same features as a celebrity.
I agree. I don't, but I don't also want to make 10-minute videos. Just like you don't want to flip your camera around and record because you're lazy. That's just what it is.
No. I want to work harder to produce a higher quality of content, and I'm mad that the audience is too lazy to turn their phone to consume the thing that I made through my sweat equity that they get to consume for free.
You know we should blame for this, though? Apple users. It all goes down. Their origin is all going all the way back. That is the truth. That is why Instagram is the way it is. Because the way the iPhone was taking photos, that one by one.
I knew we could take it back. I'm glad we got there, guys. That was a hard-fought battle to get to that.
We can take it way back on that one. But yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think right now YouTube is going through a process where streaming, they've lost. Twitch owns that.
Twitch dominates.
Owns streaming. And then now with IGTV, that's that's going to eat into some of that creator aspect of creating content. We'll see how that works out, but I'm sure, you know, Instagram is going to spend and try and do as much as possible to get in there and you know, eat up that pie. Amazon is still working on its own separate thing. We'll see how that pans out as well. So
by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. You know, and for being the premier service, and the way you succeed is your content creators. You make content. I know they've had this vision of trying to become Netflix, TV station, and all these different things. you know, but you have creators, people who make content for you. That's the avenue where you need to improve it, because I get it. Even if you're saying that all these features are available at 100,000 and all these different numbers, yet, like you said, Juan, you're like, I can't use it at 100,000. I don't even care, because I know it won't work for me. So it's not even a matter of like having a feature. It's a matter that you've broken your own system. And I'm saying this too much.
Well, and there's absolutely no faith and no trust. That I completely agree with you. Is now I'm going out of my way to have these conversations with my audience to say, none of this works, so it's just you and me. Like, you know, I can't tell you the number of people who have left comments on my videos or hit me up on Twitter and said, like, I smashed that bell icon. I had no idea you'd put out your last 6 videos.
Okay, speaking of that, could you please tell audience, or at least could you show the tweet that you retweeted from YouTube?
Oh yeah, let me pull it up. Sorry, this is gonna take me a sec because I've got way too many web browsers.
Because I was saying this earlier. I said when Juan basically retweeted that was the same time I saw the IGTV news. It really got me. I went like this: download IGTV. Which I was just angry. I was like, how the hell do you do this to your subscriber base?
I think I remember when he announced, and I said, I guarantee that's a feature only celebrities have. And the intern fell asleep at the wheel on the Twitter feed. I guarantee he wasn't supposed to say that. You know, I was like, really?
Yeah. So basically, just to give you some background.
I've got it. Hold on. Let me screenshot it right now.
All right, here you go.
So the team YouTube is replying to someone else who was complaining about their channel engagement being really, really low. And that's when a team YouTube representative, make sure you select notify subscribers under advanced settings when you publish your videos. Also, your subs can check their account and notification settings. So if you have, like, you know, hundreds, thousands of subscribers, just have them each individually go and check their own notification settings. So my reply to that was publishing public on your channel is not enough. If you're a fan, subscribing to a channel is not enough. And now smashing that bell icon is not enough. YouTube is adding yet another setting as a potential barrier between creators and their audience. And I really feel like YouTube is just trolling us at this point.
Yeah, the funny thing is that notify, so I tried it immediately. I just uploaded a video and that option is not available. So it's either
so it's on my channel. It's not consistently rolled out across YouTube. It depends on what, I mean, if you're even using the new YouTube beta or the older YouTube or what web browser you're going through. It's a pardon the swearing again, I'm going to make your podcast rated R. It's a clusterfuck of epic proportions.
Yeah, so after I looked at that and I said, okay, let me try and upload a video. I didn't have the feature. And then I went to a couple of videos. I went to the 1+6 video with my friend Marian, right? Video has about 50,000 views. And I know a lot of people on the channel watched that video. And I went to go, so I looked at the statistics, views from notifications, AKA subscribers. That's pretty much what it is. Guess how low it is?
I wouldn't even be able to hazard a guess.
Throw a number out there.
So how many views you had on your 1+6?
No. Just so the views are 55,000, I think now. And before, my percentage from subscribers, the highest was maybe about 15.
I'm gonna say 3%.
That would be nice. 0.6.
0.6%.
That is way, yeah, exactly. So which means, so my calculation goes, this new feature that you said is kind of rolled out is in effect. I don't have access to it, and I can't notify my subscribers anymore because they've added a new feature. They didn't tell us there was a new feature. The only reason we know it is because,
well, Enabong, they don't have to notify you because you don't even have it.
Yeah,
I mean, you just can't notify your subscribers. They're not even giving you the option.
yeah, exactly. No, it's just, oh my god, it's silly, man. Really,
so what's funny is I have been using that feature, but I've been using it to deselect for the videos that I put up on my Patreon. It's like, I'm going to make sure that people who aren't subscribed to my Patreon aren't getting spammed. Yeah. So that's been the only benefit for me in having this feature, is not annoying people with videos they can't watch anyway. So thanks, Google. You've given me a feature that makes using my Patreon even better. You're awesome.
Anel says, the mic on top of the screen looks like the essential phone notch.
We got a notch for that. Oh man, our video's got a notch in it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? We can continue talking about YouTube, IGTV. It would probably take a lot of time. I mean, we've already taken more than half of the show. Any final thoughts before we move to our second and final topic of the day?
The main takeaway, I think Warren is right. I completely agree with where Warren's at. We need competition. We need other avenues to create and produce content. Ultimately, I want IGTV to be a success for all of those reasons. It's just something I personally can't use right now.
I personally just want to see YouTube get kicked in the chest.
Big time.
I really just want to see it. It's just because it's deserving. It's deserving for being this pathetic. Like,
it's been overdue a market correction for a while.
And I want to see them scramble and then realize that they're not the MTV that they think they want to be.
They need to stop acting. They need to stop acting like they're an institution. They're not. They're a web property that's been around for an exceedingly short period of time, and that's it. That's all they are.
Exceedingly short.
The reality is they outlast everyone else because they have Google's money to keep it up. They outlast everyone because of that. Remember, there was the Meta Cafes and all the other different video services that were all out at the same time. YouTube just had Google's money to push it forward and be able to stomp everyone else out who just couldn't afford to keep up.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Sam? Before we,
I think you guys already covered it. I think this is YouTube's game to lose, and as it's shown, there are other competitors out there that might not be as big, but that are as more hungry than YouTube is. And when you have people like that, this is really, we keep saying IG, but let's be realistic. This is Facebook's play.
Yeah.
Right? This is Facebook's play telling Google that you're not going to be the king forever, you know? And like you said, Twitch has already taken away streaming. IG is taking away basically creator content or just original creator content. At the end of the day, YouTube has to figure out what exactly what value it's actually adding to its creator, what value it's actually adding to not just its creators on the front end or its consumers on the front end who go there to view videos, but its consumers on the back end, because the more and more of these companies that come in to eat up little chunks of YouTube, you're going to have these consumers, these institutions go, oh, maybe I can go to IG instead because IG is more for people that fit my demographic. These are the people I want to talk to. Google is looking at a crisis right now, and how they address this in the next few months is really going to decide whether they win or they continue to dominate or not.
Yeah, that is very true. All right, moving on. The trend for bezel-less phones continues. No notch required. Oppo announced the Find X this past week, which is...
Oh, I thought it was a competition. As in, like, Find X on the map.
No, it was not Find X.
Find X is going to give it to you. Somebody was making this joke.
I like the casual way you said that. It's like, you Find X, it's going to give it to you. So I'm just looking for a nice image of the Find X. So you could tell they use the display, Samsung display for this. But the Find X, just like the Vivo phone, is all bezel, as you can see. And the front-facing camera is using a slide-up mechanism. Let's see.
A motorized slide-up mechanism.
Yeah, so when you swipe up or you hit the button for the camera and you swipe up for front-facing, it pops up one. So
I think that's pretty sexy.
Yeah, it is. It is nice, and it is interesting and cool to see. Again, you know, another Chinese manufacturer going out and saying, "Okay, we're going to do something different."
But the notch is the only way to have a front-facing camera on a phone with no bezels.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Apple did, and they wouldn't have done it if there were any other solutions.
It's only the notch. You can't do it without a notch.
I like doing the rest of this podcast with this voice.
So yeah, just thoughts. Juan, I'll start with you. What do you think about the Find X?
I'm not on board the fetishizing of bezel-less phones, but if you're gonna get rid of bezels on a phone, I would much rather see this than a notch. This is this should be expected to be a low unit selling device. This is Oppo's return to making a premium, a truly premium product. It's not their never-ending war in the mid-range with selfie devices.
Yeah.
Because what I mean, like the top price for this thing is going to be something like 1,700 euro. So they are pulling out all the stops, and deservedly, I think this thing is getting the attention it should be. Not only just for the name of the company, but then also because of what they're trying to do. So even down into the screen wraps under the parts of the frame to help seat it in place, just like other premium manufacturers do. The bill of materials looks like it should be a premium phone. The specs inside the device are going to be top tier. And there's now a motorized solution for popping out a selfie camera. Everything is on point. This is exactly what I would want to see as evolution for some of the situations facing phone design. Because I think the notch is a terrible eyesore of a short-term solution to a problem that no one really had. No one really, I mean, you look at a Galaxy phone, no one really had a problem with so much bezel from like a Galaxy S9. That wasn't a problem. And Apple created one of the worst solutions for solving a problem that wasn't there. And now Oppo is showing us, yet again, I mean, next to Vivo, there's a better solution out there that you can take advantage of. And this is much more in keeping with where phone design should go.
Great. Sam, any thoughts?
No, I totally agree with what Juan has said. It's interesting how everyone adopted a bad phone design and ran with it. And Oppo is not immune from that design decision that had a notch. Everyone was doing it, but at least they're coming out with a different vision for a bezel-less phone, you know, that still has cameras and everything. And I think this is actually a solution that I would like to see other people do. You know, if you can actually just create I'm a purist when it comes to design, just like as little, I'm a minimalist, I should say, when it comes to design. It's as little, you know, buttons and, you know, screens and whatever as possible. Just give me a slap of a device, I push a button, it rolls up, I have my front-facing camera, I have my, you know, my regular shooter in the back. That's it. End of story. It's nothing complicated with an interesting notch that hides part of your screen. It's interesting. Interesting. Yeah. If you're going to give me a phone with, you know, no bezels, then give me a phone with no bezels. Don't make the camera bezel just some kind of unibrow that I have to then basically be distracted by. You know, if you're gonna say no bezels, make it no bezels, and that's what Oppo's doing right now.
Yeah, Warren, as he's watching the game.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree with kind of what everyone said already. It's like I just like the fact that they're trying something new and something different, and trying to kind of refresh instead of everyone just like, all right, we picked this one design, this design, and everyone's gonna copy this shit. You know, having a motorized pop-up camera is something different. It's something unique. It's something that we're not going to see in other phones. Maybe if it gets popular, we're seeing some other phones, but it's just nice to just get something different out there in this bezel-less race that I don't quite understand why, because the less bezels you have, the better chance you're putting a case on it, and then
it makes design makes the phone feel incomplete, because now I need to go out and buy stuff to make the phone thicker so that I can use the phone better.
Exactly. Now,
haven't you watched Westworld? That's what we're getting to. So I want that device to have.
Or I mean, like science fiction has this hard on for, you know, we'll make like a transparent phone like in The Expanse.
Yeah.
If we're still using slab of rectangle hundreds of years from now, I'm going to be so pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
I will come back from the dead and start slapping people.
I don't want still. That's my problem.
Old rectangle, touch, square, get app. Bull crap. No, thank you. I want neural interfaces. I want, you know, optical, you know, AR reality interfaces. I want better audio. Like I want
tattoos. Yes.
Not a shutout. Okay, that just makes me feel happy for Korea, but man, Mexico is taking this game way too lightly. All right, sorry.
Continue talking because I want to see the replay.
My feed to this one just like stopped for some reason.
What I'd like to see though is that if they're gonna do this motorized camera thing, can they make better tech inside that front-facing camera to improve its quality over something that has to be built in to the actual frame? So it'll be pretty interesting to see if they can like get a front-facing camera that matches the quality of the rear-facing camera at the same time.
I think you should. Yeah, I think that's that especially if it's motorized and it's on the second slab, they should be able to have just these same.
Wasn't Oppo the company that did the flip?
The rotate,
yeah. They have an array of selfie cameras that are pretty good. That just they don't come to this market, especially on the mid.
Well, I again, we're talking Oppo so far because if anyone's seen any of my camera videos, I hate selfies. I hate taking selfies. I think everyone should get good at using the rear camera on their phone if they want to take a picture of themselves because it's infinitely better. The OnePlus 5 selfie camera, not bad at all. I was pulling off a couple really low light shots that look surprisingly good. So that's Oppo tech. That's the parts bin from Oppo. If you want to see how far they've advanced in the world of endless selfie phones, I take Oppo front-facing cameras a lot more seriously than I do most other manufacturers.
I guess that's pretty much it. I can run through some quick news items, if you guys want.
No, I think there's a good news item here. I think Wall Street Journal was reporting that the operator in the fatal self-driving Uber crash was streaming the voice when the crash happened, according to police. So remember in March where we had this crash with the Uber driver who hit a pedestrian that was basically walking a bike?
Yeah.
No, you don't remember?
No, I remember. I said. Sorry.
So basically, what happened was the driver, I think her name was Vasquez, was sitting down streaming the voice while the car was driving. She wasn't paying attention to the road. She wasn't being that second level of of eyeballs of verification for the self-driving car. So as much as we want to say, oh, it's camera issues and Uber turning off the some of the sensors on the Volvo, as many issues as you can point at, the fact remains that the backup system was intended to be the human being, and the human being wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. They were sitting down streaming the voice because they got way too comfortable with a technology that's not 100% proven yet.
And this is the big concern with these sort of co-pilot is people keep talking about them as if they are true science fiction grade self-driving automobiles, when really, I mean, especially for what Uber's working on, like Waymo, I think is a little further ahead in terms of actual deployment and technology, but they're still not so much better that I feel we should be talking about these as completely autonomous roving vehicles that don't require human interaction. They are ridiculously advanced co-pilot systems, and you still need a human who's paying attention to what's going on. And that's what's dangerous in this middle space, is they work so well most of the time that you can get complacent. And that's where I really feel like we need to have some sort of countrywide initiative for some kind of broadcasting system. This is going to be a huge issue with personal liberties, civil liberties, privacy problems. But even if you're in a human piloted vehicle with no advanced autonomous co-pilot, I still feel that there should be some kind of beacon alerting other cars to your presence and what your vehicle is doing. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to be the next step is, if you're within 50 yards of another car, then your car should be aware of what all of the other cars around them in sort of a digital wireless bumper car like radio, that we can better prepare people for alerts, notifications. And then also if someone is doing something unexpected, your car can alert you and your car can respond much, much faster because it actually has that data to work off of, as opposed to trying to do everything through cameras and sensors. I kind of feel like There should be like in the car computer. I already do this to track my mileage. It tracks all my engine stats. It tracks my fuel economy. And then if I suddenly brake, I get a notification saying like you just had a hard brake, or if my car's front collision sensor goes off, it sends a message to the car computer, which then alerts a notification on my phone. If I can already do that internally, I need to be able to broadcast that externally.
And I think that's something that should happen, because if you look at only a few years ago, we didn't have required, reverse cameras in cars. Now it is required to have these reversing cameras at the back of your car, so you can see if a kid or someone is behind you when you're reversing. That's amazing. So yeah, that's something.
I can't tell you how many times I've kicked the car into reverse to see a toddler standing right behind my vehicle, like all the time. And it's like you've got a parent, they've got two other kids, they're buckling one into a car seat. It's the car right next to mine, and the toddler just takes a step backwards. It's not like a negligent parent. It's just this is a busy parking lot. It's you need to be able to see all that. If I hadn't had the backup camera, I wouldn't have been able to see a 3-year-old standing by my trunk. Like that's way outside my line of sight.
And these kind of things are the kind of things we look at governments to do, the kind of things that we need governments to be very forward thinking about, where they're looking at the technology that's available, they're looking at the way these cars work, and they're making decisions, like you said, of basically maybe just recommending that every single car has a sensor that works with a sensor network, on the roads, that they build these things into our highways. We're always being charged more for these highways and whatnot. Then why not build them to 21st century standards, where we have sensors that basically make all cars connected in some way or communicate in some way? It's a pretty great idea. I wonder if anyone from the government is listening, so they can.
Well, I mean, to do that, especially in the US, I mean, it will happen in the EU first, because
totally.
Get that kind of regulation passed here, and probably China also, because they can always impose that quite fast. It would just take time, unless California will say California roads need to have this by 2025 or 26. The US itself would be around 2030, maybe, just because of the way we know. And speaking of political systems, and also what maybe the government shouldn't actually have access to, this is an article Sam just shared, so I will actually just share it with you guys so you can see. The Amazon employee protests the sale of face recognition software to police. An Amazon worker reportedly wrote to their boss asking him to stop selling facial recognition software to U.S. law enforcement. In the letter to CEO Jeff Bezos, first reported by Gizmodo, the employee outlined their fears about how the company recognition technology would be used by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security in current political climates. In the face of this immoral U.S. policy and the use of increasingly inhumane treatment of refugees and immigrants beyond this specific policy, we are deeply concerned that Amazon is implicated, providing infrastructure and services that will enable ICE and DHS, they wrote. This is interesting because besides the whole political implications, for me, one of the things that I don't like is the fact that we don't know that these technologies are being used. Nobody knows. I mean, like, other than, people like us, even, and a few other people out there, but most people don't know that this is being used by the government. Like, for instance, we talked about China a few months ago, setting up that whole social network system. But in China, they all know that they all have facial recognition. I mean, it's standard. So whether, there's a political aspect or angle to it, the thing is that there needs to be information out there saying that these are the kind of tools that are being used, whether it's for ICE, whether it's even just for general policing, however it is, but you need to know where those things come from. Now, whether Amazon should sell this technology or not, that becomes a different point.
No, it's not even a different point of view whether Amazon should sell it or not. It's very clear based on, so basically there's a graduate researcher at MIT called Joy Buolamwini. I'm probably bastardizing her name. Basically, she has examined the bias in facial recognition in Amazon's what's it called, recognition with REKOG recognition system, found that it performs worse on women and people with darker skins than men and people with lighter skins, and worse of all on dark-skinned women.
Okay.
So,
so Recognition should just stop making their software first.
Definitely should.
Apparently, the Recognition is based on, I don't know, sort of a generic web camera from 8 years ago.
Exactly.
on darker skinned individuals.
Everyone here is screwed, but Juan.
Or everyone's doing better, but Juan's gonna be recognized and perp walked out immediately.
So basically, it's just like you don't want a surveillance system out there. First of all, it's a very gray area, especially when you have the Supreme Court decision that getting information on your cell phone, like typing wireless devices, your cell phone devices, is basically unconstitutional. They need a warrant for that. Yeah. Now it's coming out now to basically facial recognition. This is another thing that we need to basically figure out how it can be used, especially when it has some inbuilt biases like these. How do we determine how facial recognition is used? Because people aren't going to say, "Oh, you need a warrant to be able to use facial recognition of people." They're just going to deploy it and basically find whoever they want to find. How do you make sure that these guys, that the government that is selling this technology to, does not abuse the technology?
I mean that becomes the problem. It's not even just the facial recognition. I think we now live in a world where we share our biometrics, we share our voice imprint, we share a lot of things with Facebook, Amazon, Google, and they sell data, and this is something that the government would like to own and buy. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or anything. The government doesn't have to buy it directly; it can buy it through third parties as well. So it's not like it's something that they need.
And it's almost public domain because we put it out there.
Exactly. So that is the other side of the technology that we like, we enjoy, we talk about a lot, but we don't see the extended ramifications. One of the best examples was I was talking to a rep this week, and we're talking about how like it's so weird when you search for something and then next minute it pops up on your Facebook and all this kind of stuff. And then she goes, "No, I didn't search for something. I'm traveling on a mission trip and I was like, I need to get Pepto-Bismol. I was talking to my boyfriend about Pepto-Bismol. I did not search for Pepto-Bismol." And I was like, I probably believe you because nobody really searches for Pepto-Bismol because
like I'm aware of the existence of Pepto-Bismol. I'm covered.
And then she's like, why did it just pop up on my IG feed as Pepto-Bismol? So, just microphone trying, those kind of things. Like, I mean, we laugh, but
so this is totally out of the blue, but like last week, Wednesday, I was looking at Porsche Macan. I'm like, oh, this is a nice looking car. Thursday, I see a red Macan right outside of work. Friday, I see a silver one. Saturday, I see a black one. I'm like, holy Lord, what's going on? If that would freak you out, just imagine if you're talking about a product and then your phone starts displaying it. That would freak you out to no end, man.
No, Sam. What happened is that Porsche bought your browsing history and then told people, drive cars. Wow. Like Sam's coming out from lunch. Now.
And you know what the sad thing is? They probably could do it based on like data science. They could probably
they could. It's not hard.
Yeah, because they probably have the information to do it. That's the sad part of it. But they probably wouldn't even do it because it's not worth it.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to a very interesting time, quickly, really fast. That I don't think we have any idea how we're going to solve those problems till we get there and we have a huge problem in the first place. So
totally. Yeah, we're not thinking long term on any of this stuff, and we're sort of all just along for the ride. So when something breaks, it's gonna affect a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It will be. All right, guys, we have come to the end of the show. And we, of course, usually ask what we have on our channel and what we can expect next week. So I'm going to kick it off with my man on the right here, Mr. Warren Bowman. What do you have on your channel? What can we expect?
Next week, I'm actually going to be trying to try out some IG video stuff and try to post on there just to see what we can do. Got a little hands-on on a couple of cool Oasis products. So I want to try just jumping on there to see what you guys think about that. And got a couple more reviews coming up next week.
Cool. Mr. Juan Bagnell, how about you?
Yeah, got a couple things. Well, first of all, we did our E3 recap a couple days ago on Newegg. So Newegg now, we kind of went back over through some of our favorite announcements. You know, a little late considering when E3 actually was, but it's always fun talking to Trisha about some of that stuff because she's way savvier about the gaming landscape than I am currently. And I did try a couple little live streams. I recently fired up a new rig to try and do some Android gaming. So I played some Exile Kingdoms yesterday just as a test to see if I could actually make it all work and get the screen capture and everything going. Because again, YouTube gaming is a dumpster fire and I hate using it and it's perma broken all the time. I'm going to finally be wrapping up the OnePlus 6 camera review this weekend. So that'll be going live hopefully tonight. But if not tonight, then early tomorrow morning. A lot of thoughts to share. And I had to hold off on finishing this video twice because of updates. So 2 updates that came to the phone while I've been using the phone that actually did change slightly some of the camera settings and then selfie camera performance that I wanted to touch on too.
I was going to ask you any updates to the RAW files?
No. I mean, RAW stays the same. This is about image processing and then also brought the portrait mode to the front-facing camera. So I had to go out and reshoot some stuff there. So that took a little longer. If you're ever reviewing a OnePlus phone, those first 2 weeks are a constant moving target. In my review, I talk about a problem I had with the phone that was then addressed 2 days after I published the review with the software update. So I've got people coming to my review going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you couldn't find that setting." And you're like, it didn't exist when I did the review.
Wasn't up there.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to be wrapping that up, and I'm really excited to finally finish that because the next phone I already have on deck. I am ridiculously excited to be spending time with the Key 2. So this is probably going to be one of my top phones of the year for people who want a phone. So that's what's going to be coming up soon on the Gadget Guy channel. Of course, all the Patreon stuff, all of the Newegg stuff. And then I'm going to be on Fox LA Tuesday. foxla.com if you want to stream it, where they're bringing me on to do a camera segment. So I'm going to be talking about how to improve your photography, tips and tricks. And then they're going to be kind enough to plug my book on one of the highest rated morning talk shows in Los Angeles. So it's a nice little bit of synergy. My producer, Shaka Armstrong, is a badass, and he's definitely hooking me up. So foxla.com, it should be like around 8:45 a.m. Pacific time. You should be able to catch that segment, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right, cool. My end here, we've got 3 videos this week, actually 4. Definitely check out Westworld episode 9, our recap of that. I mean, the season finale is Sunday, and it's going to be dope. We can do a roundup on that. So
for some reason, this season feels short because there's like just hit after hit every single episode.
It's been on fire. So definitely join us for that. I think it's a 90-minute episode, so about 10:30 is when we're going to start. We had a couple of videos. We had an upgrading to the Ring doorbell. It was a sponsored video, but not by Ring. So it was sponsored by Home Depot. They wanted us to check out some, which is actually cool sponsorship. They said, pick and choose what you want, test it out, and let us know what you think. So we picked the Ring doorbell, and it's basically showing how you can upgrade your older home with some smart features and some of the connected stuff. What I like about Ring is Ring has a crime map and showing you where crimes have happened in your neighborhood, showing you what people have reported. And also they also have a video log. So people also post within your neighborhood and around the country, Ring members of, like people stealing packages, people trying to break into buildings, just its own little community, which is very interesting with that. So it was nice to see that that's also added to the whole thing.
There's stats on how that actually helps police solve crimes, if at all.
I don't know. I think it's something you just started recently, at least maybe in the last year or two. So we'll see how that pans out. But it's an active community where people are helping with tips, telling you what to do, even just like, oh, this happened to me, and like make sure you do this, or maybe you put your camera at this angle, you get a better view. Some people also just complain about, you know, certain things like that. So it's interesting, I would say. Daniel did his Oppo R15 Pro review. Check it out. He also has a cinematic video on that, which I would link with this as well. And then finally did our LG G7 ThinQ 30-day, which my biggest, I will just tell you, my biggest problem with the phone is this. Right there. As for next week, we still have the Sony TV we have to do a review on, so hopefully that will drop next week. But I will be moving some stuff, as I mentioned earlier, to IGTV. Expect the Colonel to show up because now he has a place to do work. You know, and since IG doesn't pay, I don't have to pay him, so that's good. Out
of everyone, I feel like he would be the least okay with that arrangement.
He's not here.
Is he aware of this?
Yeah. I'll be doing some stuff on IGTV. I'm going to actually try and create shows, specific days. As I mentioned, I want to do a cooking show of some kind, so expect to see that on there, and we'll mix it up and see what works. Tell me if you don't like it, if you do, if I should stop, that kind of thing. You know, that helps. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. Want to thank everyone for joining us, and also enjoying us while we all kind of looked right or left, trying to push the...
I'm watching the pre-show for the next game. I'm sorry. It's in 50 minutes. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's World Cup season. There's going to be a ton of games on the weekend. We're just doing what's expected of us. Okay, we're doing what's expected.
I am but a lowly mortal.
It happens once every 4 years. It's once every 4 years.
No, it's once every 2 years because there's a mini World Cup during the Olympics. So, yes.
Either way, thank you and again, guys, for chiming in the chat. I know we didn't focus too much on that. We were all talking about IGTV and all that. It looks like Kyle Ruggles is commenting here heavily, but again, thanks, guys. Leave your comments if you're watching this later in the comment section below, and definitely check out all the channels. You can check out Mr. Warren Bowman here from BW1.com. It's BW1.com on YouTube, Instagram, in IGTV. We just throw that in there now again, constantly, and you know, Facebook, as well as also his website, BW1.com. And then Mr. Juan Bagnell of Some Gadget Guy. You can find him on Some Gadget Guy on YouTube. You can also find him Some Gadget Guy on Twitter, Instagram, IGTV as well, and also Patreon. Follow him there. Subscribe if you want to get some very specific content, which actually I'll talk to you about it, because I was thinking about doing stuff on Patreon myself.
Yeah, let's have a chat.
Yeah,
definitely.
And also he does a show on Thursdays with Trisha Hirschberger at 1 p.m. Eastern on Newegg. It's called Newegg Now. Really cool show about, you know, tech, gaming, building PCs, accessories, you name it, all things that you love that have unbuttons.
This last week we actually sold a 1080 Ti for under MSRP.
Oh.
I know, right? Now that the 1180 is only a month away, exactly. We finally broke that barrier.
Yeah, you were you. I love that.
We weren't hitting the refurb bin for that. No, it was a new video card.
Like you're used, because you know used is expensive.
But that's the truth, right? It's been a huge issue for anyone who's into building their own PC. I've held off on upgrading my 980 Ti's simply because I will not pay above MSRP for graphics cards, especially when, you know, there's a new one coming up real soon. Why would I spend so much? It's a really, like, I'm sure a lot of people will want to see, like, you know, I'll possibly get something like that.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see where the used market goes, because I think there's going to be a lot of ill ease in the used market because of all the crypto miners. Like, I don't necessarily think people are going to be as quick to jump on a used card at this generation cycle if that card was used for crypto 24/7, 365, and the fans are burning out. So I'll be curious to see. I think this is going to be a rough transition for NVIDIA and AMD to figure out who are their customers and how can we make sure that customers are actually getting the products.
And they might want to just, at the end of the day, sell directly. Because if the people who were pumping up the price wasn't the NVIDIAs or the AMDs of the world, they were still selling the cards at the price they released it at. But these, the Amazons of the world, the eBays of the world, people were buying these things, taking them out of stock, and then reselling them for like huge markups. so it might be worth them thinking, how do we get a little bit more control over?
Yeah, and that you're definitely right, because I mean, NVIDIA opened it up with I think it was the 1080 and the 1070 Ti, where they were selling it off their website, but it was limited amounts. And you're right. And if I'm them, I might as well try and increase that, or at least do that in batches and just say, hey, look.
Well, and that's absolutely why, because exactly to your point, Sam, like you might not get exactly the same deal in the moment, but it's worth reiterating. You can go, like my Newegg overlords won't necessarily love that I'm saying this is a potential solution, but it's why I do like programs like EVGA Step Up, where you pay MSRP, but then when these generations cycle, you put the card that you've purchased towards the card that's coming out, and you get a new card, not a refurb. Again, that's one potential solution to this problem, and I hope one that retailers start taking more seriously are loyalty programs, a rewards program, something like that, that when you demonstrate that you are the enthusiast and not just another reseller, somehow we can get you to the front of the line.
But I'm an enthusiast miner.
Well, the miner cards that basically went nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why the mining cards didn't do well, because performance of the mining cards performance-wise were fine. I mean, like.
No, I'll tell you, I think the reason why is because those miners want to then resell cards to everybody. If you can only resell cards to other miners, like if you have a headless video card, that makes the resale value substantially lower. And that's what's so frustrating, is those cards are going to be mixed up in the used market, just like actual enthusiast cards that were only used for gaming. And you can run your card hard if you're a gamer. No one's saying you can't, but there's no way you are gaming like people have been mining, where that card is running 24/7, 365 at a pretty high level. That's what I mean. Is, sorry to prolong the episode, is that kind of stuff I think is going to be a big concern for people who are actually going to be reselling their current gear in good faith. The 1180 comes out, you're a gamer, you've got a 1080 Ti, you put it out on the market, and suddenly there's a flood of every other gamer and every other crypto user that's also hitting the same market at the same time. I think this is going to be a rough transition, not only for enthusiasts and for customers, but for companies to figure out who are we making products for, and how do we make sure that those audiences and that those communities are being well served.
Totally agree.
Definitely agree. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate it. Again, join us next week. We'll be back here at 12 p.m. same time. I will make sure to hit notify all subscribers. Oh, it's too late. This is already live, so never mind. Till next week. Always enjoy the entertainment.
Bam. Watch the World Cup.